What's going on, guys? I'm Orel, also known as Swaggtech. I want to make sure that I'm all framed up nice. I don't know if I am or not, whatever. But I'm Orel, also known as Swaggtech, and this is Vaping 101/102. Yeah. I decided to do it this way because I recorded these videos about a week ago, and they were boring. So I wanted to redo them, maybe make them a little bit more interesting somehow. But I found out that there's really not that much of a difference between the two. So I'm going to put them both together. So starting with a Ecigs device or a Super Mini or a Mini, if you will, and starting with an eGo. And we're going to do those together, and then we'll follow up with starting with a mod or a variable voltage device. But I want to give a disclaimer before I start. I want to say that all of these products I purchased with my own money, and I do not want you to look at the branding. I mean, you're going to see branding because, Ecigs companies brand a lot of their stuff. So you're going to see brandings, but, some of this stuff I bought just for the purpose of this video, and so it may not be the best thing out there. This video may last for years, and by the time someone gets to see it, it may no longer be the best thing out there, what have you. So I'm not going to make any hardware recommendations. Instead, I'm just going to focus on what the product is, how it works, and if it's right for you or not. I'll give pros and cons, and you can decide. And once you figure out what style of device is right for you, then you can go and find out who's got the best version of that device. And I think that'll be the best way to go. Alright, so all of that out of the way, let's start with the Super Mini, or your basic starter kit. So if you're going to a drugstore or even some gas stations, you'll see starter kits that are there by various companies. So you can pick these up there. In my experiences, I've found that online has been a cheaper place and there's more of a selection. So you can also go online and buy them there. But basically, when you're dealing with a starter kit of a Ecigs device, because you can have a starter kit of anything, but a basic starter kit, this is what you're thinking of. So I'm going to go ahead and open it and give you a little unboxing if you never bought one of these. They're going to be different from kit to kit. You may get more of something, you may get less of something. You'll find all that out when you get ready to order from a particular vendor. But I'm going to go ahead and open this. And of course you got a user's manual. Most of the time the user's manual is full of stuff that I'm about to tell you, but sometimes there's also good information. Like this one provides good information. I learned some things. Let's see here. Oh, that's my invoice. Of course, business cards. You get a USB to wall adapter in most cases. You'll get a USB to battery for your actual charger, so you'll get an adapter for that, and you'll get the battery itself. Generally, they'll also throw in some extra cartridges of your flavor and your choosing, and then I just got other cartridges floating around in there. So that's it. That's the basic unboxing. Now the first thing you're gonna want to do when you get this thing out is, the first thing you're gonna want to do is to screw this battery on and go to work. Don't do that. Sometimes these batteries come charged. Sometimes they don't. It's always a good rule of thumb when you're just now buying a kit or a new battery or anything, period. Just go ahead and plug it up, make sure it's good and fully charged. So to do that, you screw the battery into the connector there, then you plug that into a USB port, or you plug this into a wall socket or outlet. That's it. Self-explanatory. Nothing big there. Once you get a full battery, you'll go ahead and thread your cartridge onto your device, or your battery rather, and then you take a vape. Now, I have an automatic battery, which means that when I inhale, it automatically turns on and starts me vaping. You may have a manual battery, which will come with a little rubber button. You press the button, and then you take your drag. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the vapor production on this particular unit, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. So it's pretty standard. This particular unit is an 808, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But you may get a 510, you may get a 901. It really depends on that particular vendor, that particular supplier's kits, or what have you. Regardless, it's pretty much the same thing. You'd order some more of these cartridges, and you'd either sign up for a plan where they send you a certain number of boxes a month, or you just go on and order when you need more. Generally, they come pre-filled. Now, you can buy empties. If you were to buy an empty, usually they're just called cartomizers, but some people will call them empty cartridges so you can recognize them. What it is, and I'm going to attempt to pull this off here. I don't know if I can. Oh, I got it. Alright, what it is basically filler material surrounding a airflow tube. And at the bottom of that airflow tube would be your coil or your atomizer. That filler material keeps juice wicking down to the coil. The coil gets hot, it turns into vapor, it works. If you were to buy an empty one, then there will be no juice in it. It would just be the cartridge. So you'd want to buy a bottle of juice from another vendor, or maybe from the same vendor, and you can customize what flavors you get. So there is a level of customization to these. And that's it. That's all there is to Vaping 101. Is you buy these, you buy pre-filled cartridges, you screw them on, you vape, it dies, you charge it, cartridge goes dead, you throw it out and get a new one, so on and so forth. These cartridges are meant to be disposable. The battery isn't, and basically, well, the battery is over time, but basically what that equates to is that you'd save money from buying disposables. So disposables would be on the expensive side of the spectrum. They last about a day. They cost $10. That's twice the cost of a cigarette habit for most of us. With these, you'd just be replacing the cartridges. I think a pack of 5 cartridges would run you around the neighborhood of $5 to $10. Each cartridge would probably get you through a day if you're smoking on your regular smoking schedule. So it'll add up and it'll balance itself out, and you will save money that way compared to smoking. Those are the plus sides. Oh, and it's small and discreet. And a lot of the times they come and look just like cigarettes, so you can hang out in the smoking section and not get noticed as much. When it comes to cons, you can't change the battery that's in the tube. And basically what that means is that once the battery goes dead, I have to buy a whole new unit instead of just buying a battery. And that unit or this battery is proprietary. You can't buy them from anywhere else. You'd have to get the same style. A battery like that will run you about $15. Whereas if you have replaceable batteries, you have battery options that run from $3 to $4 all the way up to about $10 to $15. So it's a little bit on the iffy side for me. I like to be able to just replace a battery instead of replacing an entire unit. But for some people it works, and typically you get 2 of these in a kit, not just the one in the little express kit that I ordered. So that's Vaping 101. That's that. I'm sorry if that was boring. Had to get it out. 102 is eGos. And the thing about going from, when I was doing this video, and I do 101 first and then do 102 second, is what I noticed was I was saying a lot of the same things, and this is why I'm going to put them together. Instead of going through from the beginning what an ego is and blah, 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 I'm just going to tell you the differences between the regular super mini or mini starter kit and an ego starter kit. So, when you order an ego starter kit, sometimes it will come in nice fancy packaging, sometimes it won't, depends on where you get it from. If you were to order a full kit, generally you will get 2 batteries. Depending on the size of the battery, sometimes you'll just get 1. So, let's say that I've unboxed this and it's a starter kit. You get your ego battery, 1 or 2. You'd get a USB wall adapter, and you'd get an ego charger. The ego charger works just like the other charger works. You take your ego battery, you screw it in, and then you either plug this into a USB outlet or you plug this into the wall. I'm going to screw this off. The other thing that you get is a clearomizer or a cartomizer or a tank system. You get some sort of atomizer to go on the top. There are a number of different ones, different styles, but the threading is always the same. So when you hear people refer to ego threading, this is what they mean. It's a typical 510 connection on top, and then there's threading here around the base for a skirt or an aesthetic piece. And that's how that works. I have here a Kanger EVOD clearomizer. I'm going to take that and thread it right onto those ego skirts. And then you're good to go. Now this is a manual battery, of course. There's the button there. So you'd hold the button in order to fire. It also has 5 clicks on, 5 clicks off. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the device turns off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the device turns back on. So yeah, I'm going to take a vape of this, and then we're going to say pros and cons of starting with an ego style battery, and then we'll be done with these 2 videos finally. So alright, pros and cons of ego. To me personally, if I were just getting started from an Ecig, and I said I wasn't going to do this, but just to be completely honest, I would start with some sort of ego setup. Egos make great backups for mods. I mean, if you're out there and you're spending $200 and $300 on a particular device, you want to have something that's going to work in case that one fails and you have to send it back to get fixed. Egos are great for that. They're inexpensive and they work well. They're also very versatile. Now they're starting to make expensive mods with ego threading native. So it's going to come with the same threading that egos have because there's so much you can do with it. I can put anything that's threaded 510, and I can also put anything that's threaded ego, like the Kanger EVOD. So I like that. The ego is very versatile. You can top pretty much anything on there. Carto tanks, cartridges, cartomizers, tankomizers, clearomizers, all that stuff typically will fit an ego. I also like the customization. I've seen egos that have engraved printing on them, like dragons or checkerboards. I've seen them with flowers. I've seen every color you could possibly think of. I've seen small egos. I've seen long egos. There's something out there for everyone. It's pretty versatile. Also, the ego twist version, or vision spinner, or any other knockoff that you find out there. And it allows you to dial in the voltage. That way you control how much power is getting to your atomizer, and then that controls how warm your vapor is, how much vapor you get. You're getting into playing with a lot of numbers there. And I love being able to do that, especially if I'm new. If I start here, then by the time I learn variable voltage and variable wattage, I still have something where I can do that, and I'm not trying to buy another unit already. So, that's pretty much it for the pros, which there are a lot of, to having an ego. The cons are exactly the same as the cons of the Super Mini unit. The battery is proprietary. It's not replaceable. You get an ego device, if the battery dies, you're stuck. You have to buy another ego device if you can't repair it yourself. They are self-serviceable to a certain extent. Sometimes wires will get loose in here, and you just take it apart, resolder it down, and you're good to go. So that's a plus, but at the same time it's a negative because, I'm stuck with this one battery. That's really the only negative. Battery life is subjective because egos can come at as little as 350 milliamp hours, or as big as 1300 milliamp hours would be the biggest one I've seen. So You know, you can do a lot with that. That's it. Yeah, I've pretty much covered everything as far as the two different styles. They're very simple. They're easy to pick up and go. If you know an older vapor or someone who's older and you're trying to convert them, I would definitely suggest one of the two. And that's it. That's all I have for this. So I'm just going to end by saying I'm Orel, also known as Swaggtech. I appreciate you guys watching. I hope I helped. Email me, leave comments, speak to me. I'll be happy to speak back. And yeah, let's keep blowing safe clouds, man. Have a good one.